Hey guys, Redneck Wannabe here. I hope all's well with you and your family today. So last night was the 4th of July. And, and I just know right now somebody's going to listen to, say, the first quarter of this video and, quarter of the way into it, they're just going to go, well, damn, boy, you're just a pinko commie fascist pig, and maybe I am, but just bear with me, okay? But last night was the 4th of July, and we went to go watch fireworks. And, all the time, or while the fireworks were going, I kept hearing guys go, yeah, freedom! And it just, I thought to myself, man, we are not free. We are not a free people whatsoever. As a matter of fact, some of the things that we're dealing with today, our founding fathers rebelled for. They fought a revolution for it. So we're not a free people by any stretch, and it got me to thinking about how homesteading, or if you're trying to homestead, you're an outlaw. And I just thought I'd do, and I don't know how quick it's going to be, but I just put down a few things where if you were homesteading and if you were trying to homestead, you may be an outlaw. So you may be an outlaw or homestead outlaw if you have chickens. And some cities, you can't have a single chicken. You can't have one, you can't have 6, you can't have nothing. Otherwise, you're going to be fined and or possibility of jail. And they're just going to say, forget it. And so that's the main thing that homesteaders, especially, they start off with are chickens, because they're easy. They help feed you. And they're just fun, they entertain you. But you may be a homesteader if you have chickens. Or you may be an outlaw, homestead outlaw, if you have chickens. Now, those of you that are in the country, there's no regulations. You may have, a bazillion chickens. But I love what Joel Salatin says, that, Skittles, Twinkies, and Ho-Hos are legal, but Lord forbid, if you have a chicken, you raise it humanely, you raise it organically, sustainably, however, you take it in your kitchen that you eat from, you process that chicken, and then you sell it to your neighbor, man, you're liable to get SWAT teamed, because it's not safe. And it's just, it's a total dichotomy. So if you've got chickens, you could be a homestead outlaw. The second thing is water. People that catch rainwater in some states, man, it's, you have committed the unpardonable sin, because that rainwater is the states and the states only. And Lord forbid, if you were to take that rainwater, catch it in some sort of a cistern, a bucket, whatever, you're liable to get fined, jail, you name it. I mean, there's multiple stories. I want to say it's Oregon, where guys are getting thrown in jail for water catchment and stuff like that. So if you catch your own rainwater, you may be a homestead outlaw. Some places you can't even have vegetables. If you're in an HOA, especially in the suburbs, if you're in an HOA trying to grow your own food, trying to be as self-sufficient as you can, and you have vegetables in your yard, and maybe it's fenced or what have you, you have a big garden, HOAs don't like that sometimes. You may be a homestead outlaw. Lord forbid, if you were to have vegetables in your front yard. I think it was down in Florida, some guy was, I don't remember what happened. I know the city was all over this guy for growing vegetables in his own front yard, his property. But the city and the state, they took, claim over private property and said you can't do that. So if you grow vegetables in your own yard, you may be a homestead outlaw. Guns. Here in Texas, it's an open carry state, and I have a CHL, so I do carry. I don't openly carry just because I don't want, that's just unwanted attention that I don't want, nor do I need, but I do carry. And in the suburbs, you can't carry this. Some people may say, oh, what a cute little gun. Yeah, it's small. It fits in my pocket. Nobody knows I have it. It's a 380. And, you know, out here, I have a holster on my hip that I keep, you know, keep on my hip just because, man, you never know. The other day I was out here doing, you know, doing whatever, and I hear something right behind me, and it was a neighbor's pit bull. And, you know, thankfully, man, it's a sweet, sweet dog, and it just licked me to death. But, you know, who knows, if I didn't have this, you know, could have been a completely different story. But, you know, in the suburbs, you can't do that, you know, and maybe even in some states, I know you cannot, you know, have a gun on your hip, on your homestead, you know, go in your backyard. You can't have it on you. It's illegal. So if you carry a gun, you may be a homestead outlaw. And this just blows my mind. If there's a lot of homesteaders out there, I'm not one of them. By no stretch of the imagination am I. But there are people out there that want to live off-grid. And man, if you want to live off-grid, if you want to, you know, have no electricity, no running water, or no sewer, more power to you. You know, I admire you. There's part of me that wishes I could do that. But there's some states out there, some counties, cities, states, that you cannot be off-grid. If you are, it's some violation of codes or whatever, and fines, prison time, you name it. And man, just if you want to be off-grid, if you want to live like Little House on the Prairie days, have at it. The state should not have a say in what you do on your private property. But if you're trying to live off-grid, you may be a homestead outlaw. Some people have dairy animals, goats, cows, and they milk those animals for their own use. But Lord forbid you take that milk and you go next door to your neighbor and say, hey Joe, you want to buy a gallon of fresh milk? Man, again, you're liable to get SWAT teamed. So it goes back to, again, what Joel Salatin talks about, you know, Skittles, Mountain Dews, Ho-Hos, Twinkies, the whole thing. That's safe. But taking a sustainably organic, pasture-raised, however, animal and processing that into food and or milk, cheese, whatever, man, that's just inviting the plague to come. So if you have your own animal, you milk your own animal, you may be a homestead outlaw. I guess the last thing is, a lot of us, we grow our produce and we rack our brains, how can I make a living on my homestead? And one of the ways is grow your own produce, take it to the farmer's market, sell your stuff, make some money. That's a way. But I can only speak for here locally. But if you don't get a sales tax permit, and if you don't get a farmer's market license, you can't sell. You can't make a living off of your own homestead, because the state, in their best judgment and their wisdom, says, it's just not right. It's not safe. You can't do that. It's in the public's best interest that we regulate you and license you. So if you raise your own produce to sell to a neighbor, to a farmer's market, or whatever, you may be a homestead outlaw. So that's just a couple of those. And again, it came last night as the fireworks were going, and I just got to thinking, man, we are not as free as we think we are. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you like it, and I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. Bye.